Welcome to our wrap-up edition of the week for See You in the AM. Good to have you with us on this Friday. A couple quick things. Just want to make some plugs here quickly. We have been doing some live broadcasting. I've been going live on the Facebook Live feature. So if anyone is interested in getting notified about that, as I believe I mentioned before, just want to mention it again in case you missed that if you hit follow, not just that you're a fan of the page, but if you are following, then you have the ability to get notified when we're going live. I mean, either way, it'll still show up in your feeds later, but if you want to take part and participate in any of those live broadcasts, comment, or ask questions, obviously you need to be doing so live, so I would encourage you to do so. Keep those questions coming in. Again, today's Friday, so over the weekend, as we're getting prepared for next week, any questions you have, please send them in. Let us know what it is that I can help you with. I will answer all, but again, only a select few that will choose for the show like we've done thus far. So again, let's get right into things here. We've been talking throughout the week about buying signs, buying signals, and of course the recognition of them and how we need to control ourselves in our reaction, our response to that adrenaline like we talked about on Monday. We then on Wednesday talked about how do we answer people when they're asking us buying questions. We talked about ABC, and that formula that is very, very important to the closing process. Equally important, I mean, obviously closes. We're not going to have a conversation about closes. It's a much lengthier thing than what we're doing here for a couple of minutes in the morning. Maybe one day we will be able to address that on the show. But what I want to talk about is what happens after you've stated a close. There's an old saying in the world of sales that I'm familiar with, and that is the first person to speak loses. Now, again, I've been in sales for a long time. I've done training, hiring and training in companies, and it never ceased to amaze me when I would hear from people as I was doing training and I would share that information with them, how many of them would have a look on their face like, really? And they had been hearing from previous people that taught them, trainers, etc., that there shouldn't be silence in a call. That they have to keep talking. And it's quite the opposite. When you stated a close and you've asked someone to do business, you've asked them a question. You've asked and are expecting a response back, whether it's yes or no. And if it's no, we'll be prepared how to continue on. If it's yes, well, do business. Now, why are we wanting to be silent? That's more important than just the act of being silent. Now, maybe you've heard the term before that a prospect is closing themselves. And this is exactly what is happening. I liken things to different things that I know from my life. And, I used to be a fan of the Roadrunner cartoons and Wile E. Coyote. And every episode would get to a point of decision. Whether it's to cross the train tracks, go across the bridge that's going across a canyon, etc. And there would be a thought bubble on each shoulder. One thought bubble would have an angel, and the other one would have the devil, or an image of it. And this image was common in the cartoons. And what would happen? It would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, you shouldn't go across the bridge. Yes, you should. You're going to get the thing. And back and forth. But eventually, what ends up happening is in the cartoons, the devil won out, went across the bridge collapse, bottom of the canyon. Fortunately for Coyote, he was able to stretch himself out and keep on chasing. Now, why are we talking about this? Is because that's exactly what's happening inside someone's head, and they are closing themselves. They have a thought bubble with one side saying, no, it's too risky. The other side saying, go for it. This is going to be the winner. And again, I don't want to sit here and play on certain emotions, but the greed is a human emotion. And again, people are deciding to go for things that are going to make them money and be successful. That kicks in. So when you stay silent, you allow that prospect to go through that battle and then make a decision. But if you are speaking after the close, that cannot happen. So it's an essential piece of the puzzle there. When you've stated a closing statement, asked for the order, now it's time to shut up. Let the person think, let the person respond. We're never afraid of a no, but we're never going to get the yes unless we're doing so. Now, we're going to wrap things up for this week with a quote from someone that is a guru of success, of self-help, Napoleon Hill, who a lot of people are familiar with, and tie it to what we're talking about now. And he says, wise men, when in doubt whether to speak or keep quiet, give themselves the benefit of the doubt and remain silent. So if you ever have a question, be wise. After the close, stay silent. Let's be successful today in our closes. Let's be even more successful in what we do after the close today. And let's finish off our week in excellent fashion, in successful fashion. And I'll look forward to next week seeing you on Monday, and I'll see you in the AM then.